Did you know that 1 in every 6 Americans has some level of hearing loss? Or that only about a third of all people with hearing loss are of retirement age? The majority is of school or working age, and studies show that only 1 in 5 people who would benefit from a hearing aid actually use one. On average, people with hearing loss wait almost 10 years before they do something about it. And more young people are experiencing hearing loss, which is mainly due to excessive noise levels and listening to music much too loudly. I'm Neil Weber.
And I'm Clay Stalka, welcoming you to our AV Meetup Coffee Break.
So Clay, how do you communicate with people who have hearing loss?
Addressing this question is, I think, particularly important because hearing loss always comes with some kind of social dimension. You know, some people avoid all contact. They feel insecure and, don't know how to communicate with a person with hearing loss. However, we as AV professionals, I think, can do our part by making sure that we provide the right solutions to make life easier for those that most need it. Now, that reminds me of something that our CEO, Bill Mullen, told me just the other day.
What's that?
Well, he said that his doctor told him that hearing is like any other muscle in the body, in that if you don't use it, you lose it. It atrophies like any other muscles would. So if you don't hear high frequencies well anymore, then you're not using those functions of the ear. And in turn, those brain receptors aren't being used either. So they shut down and so forth.
Wow. So I guess the moral of that story is you just can't wait too long to get hearing aids, or you're just going to lose it altogether.
Yeah, you're right.
In our Thanksgiving edition of Starin's AV Meetup Coffee Break, it would be appropriate to think how we can help those with hearing disabilities. But we can't lose sight of the underlying reason to specify and recommend the use of assisted listening systems, because it's the law.
Article 219 of the Americans with Disabilities Act states that assistive listening systems shall be provided in accordance with 219 and shall comply with 706.
In each assembly area, where audible communication is integral to the use of the space, an assisted listening system must be provided.
And receivers complying with 706.2 shall be provided for assistive listening systems in each assembly area in accordance with Table 219.3. 25% minimum of receivers provided, but no fewer than 2, shall be hearing aid compatible in accordance with 706.3.
And they will enforce this law.
Yes, they will.
Now, hearing's not an all-or-nothing phenomenon. People show varying degrees of hearing at varying frequencies in both ears. The implication of this fact is they're often overlooked for a variety of reasons that include a lack of understanding about modern technology that improves access to sound.
Now, assistive listening systems, or ALSs, are sometimes called assistive listening devices, or ALDs. Now, essentially, they're amplifiers, as you probably know, that bring sound directly into the ear. They separate the sounds, particularly speech that a person wants to hear, from the background noise. And they improve what's known as the speech-to-noise ratio, or what we would call speech intelligibility.
Research indicates that people who are hard of hearing require a volume signal-to-noise ratio increase of about 15 to 25 dB in order to achieve the same level of understanding as people with normal hearing. An ALS allows them to achieve this gain for themselves without making it too loud for everybody else. But Clay, can ALSs be used by some people who are deaf?
Yeah, Neil, they can. ALSs are used by people with all degrees of hearing loss, from mild to what they call profound. This includes hearing aid users and cochlear implant users as well, and consumers who don't use either hearing aids or cochlear implants. Now, hearing aids or cochlear implants have performance limitations and don't work well in all situations. So ALDs are sometimes described as binoculars for the ears because they really stretch hearing aids and cochlear implants, thus extending their reach and increasing their effectiveness dramatically.
ALSs help address listening challenges in three ways: minimizing background noise, reducing the effect of distance between the sound source and the deaf or hard of hearing person, and overriding poor acoustics such as echo. People use ALSs in places of entertainment, employment, and education, as well as for home and personal use. So, what are the types of assistive listening systems?
Well, Neil, ALSs utilize FM, infrared, or inductive loop technologies. All three technologies are considered reasonably good. Each one, though, has advantages and disadvantages. Now first, FM systems are ALSs that use radio broadcast technologies. They're often used in educational settings and offer mobility and flexibility when used with portable body-worn receivers. Some of the newer FM systems utilize miniature receivers that fit right onto a hearing aid with a boot. Now, this smaller type of receiver is not available through dealers. It's got to be dispensed by a hearing aid professional, and it's more expensive than traditional FM systems. It also uses a high frequency, making it incompatible with other FM systems. Now, as you can see from this chart, these overall are the most attractive form of ALSs. Now, infrared systems are ALSs that utilize light-based technology. Now, they guarantee privacy because, as we know, light doesn't pass through walls. They're the appropriate choice for situations, maybe like court proceedings, that require the maximum confidentiality. They're frequently installed in places of entertainment as well. Now, they also frequently are designed and marketed on the lower end for use in television listening, as you see advertised on TV, I'm sure. These systems are way more expensive than RF systems on the high end. Now, wide area loop systems, which have all the buzz right now, utilize an electromagnetic field to deliver sound. They offer convenience to groups of T-coil hearing aid users because these users don't require body-worn receivers. Now, loop systems can be used by non-hearing aid users too through the use of a headphone and inductive loop receiver. These systems are extremely expensive. Now, the cost of a typical RF system is usually less than $1,000, and the cost of an IR system is usually under $5,000, for an average venue. Hearing loop systems can potentially cost much, much more. The lower cost of RF and IR is because the building doesn't need to be modified to have them installed. In hearing loop systems, depending upon the design, the loop must be installed over the entire floor of the venue, and it must be carefully designed and installed to ensure complete coverage with no interference to equipment within the facility. Now, additionally, RF and IR systems can also be used for multiple audio sources, where, induction loop systems can only operate on that single one channel.
Each ALS has at least three components: a microphone, a transmission technology, and a device for receiving the signal and bringing the sound to the ear. This is important to understand in order to troubleshoot these problems systematically, and to improve a system's effectiveness.
Now, sometimes users stretch a limited system too far by using products ordered from consumer catalogs, like you see here. So group setups are frequently complex, and they really justify hiring a professional sound contractor like us to, sell and install a system. Now, this is especially true when multiple microphones are needed. For example, in large meetings of 10 or more people. In this case, a microphone mixer is absolutely imperative. An automatic microphone mixer turns microphones up and down when an individual speaks so that the closed microphones don't detract from the open microphone signal quality. Well, as you see here, the Behringer Eurocom MA6000 series auto mixer is perfect for these kind of applications.
It really is. It's also important to learn about the variety of hearing aid listening attachments. Your decision to use a headset, earphone, neck loop, silhouette inductor, or other connector is going to depend on whether you have a telecoil as well as other factors. For example, you can't put an earplug into an ear that already has a hearing aid. Some couplings are more effective than others, too.
Now, cochlear implant users might use a patch cord to connect an ALS receiver directly to their speech processor. Some speech processors are body pack sized. Others are ear level and miniaturized to the size of a behind-the-ear hearing aid. Consumers with ear-level speech processors can utilize neck loops for listening in the same way as hearing aid users do.
Wide area ALSs are covered under Title III of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. This title stipulates that the ALSs be provided in public places unless a provider can prove that it's an undue burden. Examples of such venues include movie theaters, live performance theaters, and public classes. The ADA specifies that ALS receivers be provided at no cost and specifies the number of receivers that must be provided depending on the number of seats. That's the 4% rule.
And ALSs may also be called for under ADA Title I, which is the Employment Accommodations section, and Title II, which is the Accommodations Provided by State and Local Government section. Other public policies that might require the use of ALSs include Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. That affects the federally funded agencies, and also the Individuals with Disability Education Act.
Now that's information I never knew.
Well, interestingly enough, I didn't know much about ADA laws either until I researched it specially for this coffee break.
I can imagine. So let me ask, what does the biggest little sound system mean to you? To me, it means a system you can fit into different applications. It has big and dynamic sound, but a wiring and installation footprint that makes it small and adaptable. It's got speakers that you don't see, but you always feel, and it would be something that you can use for foreground, background, boardroom to bar. Electro-Voice has done it with the S44 systems. It's one sub connected to a power amp and 4 satellites that fit in the palm of your hand, and those connect to the back of the sub. The results are a small system with huge results, and honest to God, this thing blew me away the first time I heard it at the Infocom show this year. But don't just take my word for it. Right now from Starin, try one out and your next job without risk. You order it with an extra 5% off of dealer cost, and if it doesn't meet your standards, you can send it back for full credit. Now that's satisfaction guaranteed. Check it out on the EV portal at www.starin.biz. So Clay, let's get back to assistive listening systems.
All right.
Based on what we've learned thus far, what can you show us that we can use to satisfy the ADA requirements and help make things easier for hearing impaired Americans?
Well, Neil, several years ago, Starin acquired the ALS product division of Gentner Electronics. Now, through this acquisition, we've been offering ALS products through our partners, of course, under the Gentner ALS name. We make RF ALS systems that fully meet all of the federal mandates that are contained in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Our systems include a half-rack size transmitter, rack mounting kit, transmitting antenna and cable, 4 personal receivers, and the plaque and the sticker that are required by law to be displayed in your place of business or entertainment. The transmitter has both balanced XLR and unbalanced RCA inputs that are selectable. It has a built-in filter that's tailored to boost the 2 kHz to 5 kHz frequency range that meets the specific needs of the hearing impaired. And with an additional selectable high-pass filter, you're able to clarify the house sound by reinforcing the most important frequencies. It has a multi-band compressor and even an Aphex oral exciter built right in to help increase the brightness of the sound and dramatically improve that speech intelligibility. Now, we offer 3 choices of personal receiver as well. The Digital One is a single-channel receiver that locks on to the selected frequency accurately so that no tuning is ever required. We also offer the Digital 6 receiver that has 6 user-selectable channels for environments that require multiple audio feeds. And We offer the RX1A receiver, which is a low-cost, manually tunable alternative when tight budgets demand it. The best part of the Gentner solution is that you can buy the very best ALS system on the market as a package with a single part number. As an example, the Digital One single channel package is 930-401-001, and it includes everything you'll need to successfully meet the ADA requirements. The Digital 6 Plus 6 channel package is 930-401-006, and likewise contains everything you'll need to become ADA compliant. Plus, we offer additional packages with more receivers that you can find right on the Gentner ALS portal on our Starin website. We offer additional single replacement earbuds, compliance stickers, and plaques as well. Now, if you prefer to use rechargeable batteries, we offer a multiple receiver charger to make recharging foolproof and easy. And incidentally, this BC10 charger comes as a part of our 10 receiver system bundle. Now in this chart, you see a listing that shows the number of receivers required by law for ADA compliance in public buildings. So for your convenience, Starin has offered several ADA compliance packages that meet these exact requirements. These convenient bundles contain all the parts needed to make a facility fully ADA compliant. Now, just one more group of accessories that you should find helpful. We offer single and dual earbuds, ear speakers, you know, the things that go over the outer ear, lightweight headsets, neck straps, and even a telecoil or T-coil neck loop, which is becoming increasingly popular as the U.S. market catches up with the rest of the world and adopts the standard of hearing aids that have T-switches to enable direct usage with assistive listening systems. Of course, we also have replacement earbud cushions as well, and everybody needs those. And while these are not ALS systems for ADA compliance, Starin also has Gentner tour guide and translation systems. So you can call us if you need more information on any of those packages.
Thanks for giving us your 20 minutes today. I think one of the main takeaways is that it's really hard to say assistive listening systems repeatedly throughout a 20-minute period. So drop back to ALS. Everybody knows what that means in our industry. That's just yet another tip from Neil and Clay.
And remember, you can go to our website to watch all of our AV meetup sessions, many without tongue twisters, on demand.
For more information, to register an opportunity, to set up a demo, or to dive deeper into these products with a personalized online workshop, just contact your Starin Business Development Manager directly, or you can always email us at sales@starin.biz.